Listen, I never intentionally wanted to be a lazy girl. I never just woke up and was like, yep, I don't want to do the stuff that I know I should do. What would happen is I would wake up and my motivation would just be gone. I would just have no drive. And even just getting up out of my bed, brushing my teeth, and combing my hair would be a lot some days. And I suspect if you're watching this video, then you probably had those unmotivated, lazy days as well. Or even maybe those lazy days turned into lazy weeks. Or if you're lucky enough like me, it could be a whole lazy year. So before we hop into this video and I give you guys my tips that truly help me exit my lazy girl era and finally figure out how I can be consistently productive and show up on the days when it's extremely hard, I want to educate y'all a little bit and give you guys the definition of lazy. So the definition of lazy, according to Google, is unwilling to work or use energy. So in the definition, it literally says the unwillingness to. And the fact that you're watching this video right now lets me know it's not that you're unwilling. You are actually trying to get out of the slump. You do not want to feel this way and you do want to better yourself. I just feel like it's so important that I highlighted this and let you know that you are in fact not a lazy person. We may have lazy moments, lazy days, or even like lazy weeks, but that does not make up who we are as a person. We got to stop letting these moments where we're maybe not our best selves define our entire identity. It's truly a really toxic habit, and I wanted to put that first and foremost before we get into the actionable tips. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. Usually on this channel, I'm just focused on physical health. Y'all know I love showing up for myself in those ways, but over the last couple of months, my mental health has been top priority because I realized that I can't really show up for myself like I want to in the gym or other areas if my mental is not right. And a lot of these lazy days were turning into, like I said, lazy weeks and lazy months where I just felt so down about myself, so unmotivated. And I'm really excited to share this with you guys because if you guys are seeing me show up more in the gym and you guys are seeing more consistency on that end, I feel like it's only fair that I share with you the reason why I'm able to show up for myself physically. Even just a few months back, I was not able to do that because I was not taking my mental health seriously. So I know this isn't my usual. However, I really do think that you can benefit. And I pray if there's anybody else out there watching this that can relate to anything, I hope it helps you. I hope you find a tip that maybe you can implement and give it a try for yourself. So if you do like the style of video or if you want to see more like this, make sure that you like this video and subscribe. Tip number one, start consuming motivational, educational, self-help content. That could be in the form of books, podcasts, YouTube videos like this. So congratulations, give yourself a pat on the back because you're already doing this tip. And let me just say, I was the type of person that thought self-help was kind of cheesy and pointless because I figured that my problems are my problems. Nobody else knows them better than me. So obviously I know how to fix my problems. And I had that type of mindset that I'm just going to figure it out. When are you going to figure it out? You continue to struggle and you just stay in that mindset that you are the only person that can help yourself because you know your problems. And that's a hard truth is you do not know it all. I do not know it all. Unless you're the Lord, you are not all knowing. And the problem with that is number one, that is your ego talking. And number two, again, you have a closed mind. So you're not open to hearing different perspectives and learning from others that have been through exactly what you're going through. And that is what these self-help and motivational type of videos or content are. It's usually somebody had a problem, they went through something, they learned a lot from it, and now they want to help you. And it's important that we continue to have an open mind and to be open to hearing out other people and seeing if maybe what they did or maybe what they tried might be something that we can implement and try ourselves. You are what you consume, or you are who you hang around. And I don't know about y'all, but I'd much rather learn things the easy way than the hard way. So if somebody has already been through something and have found success in a certain way, then I want to learn from them. I want to see what they did that I could possibly implement and do myself. So that is why that's my first tip, because I truly believe that self-improvement starts with self-awareness and self-education. Okay, tip number two is to start setting boundaries for social media. Okay, so we got to talk about it. Social media is an amazing place if used correctly. Like, we can teach others, we can learn from others, we can even monetize and create a lifestyle for ourselves that would not be possible in the past. It is a massive privilege that we have, but only if it's used correctly. So these last 2 years, I pretty much never get on TikTok and I rarely go on Instagram, and it's still pretty triggering for me if I'm being honest. Now, the reason that I bring that up is because I understand that setting boundaries for my social media is vital for my mental health. You're probably still thinking that Instagram and TikTok and social media is just an innocent little habit. So what if you wake up and get on your phone, or if you're on your phone all the way until you go to bed? It's not that deep. right? I believe it is that deep. So we have this thing called dopamine, and dopamine is our feel-good chemical. It's also the main chemical involved in addiction. When we use social media, this is released. It's also released when consuming alcohol, addictive drugs, and even gambling. So most of us are going to set boundaries when it comes to gambling because we want a place to live. And we're obviously going to set boundaries with alcohol because we want to be a functioning member of society. So why is it that we will set boundaries when it comes to those things, but when it comes to social media, we just look at it as a innocent habit that really doesn't need boundaries set on it? So because I understand the real effects that social media has on my mental health and my brain health, I do not take my use of social media lightly. And I'm not saying that I never fall victim to overuse and I don't find myself scrolling sometimes, but I understand that there is a direct connection when I'm feeling really down, unmotivated, and just not feeling like myself to my overusage of social media. So that is why I put boundaries in place. Like in the morning, I do a bunch of different things before I even touch my phone and start getting on social media because I know that that is detrimental to how my day will be. And another thing, if you think you're consuming free content, nothing is free, okay? You are giving them your most valuable asset, and it's not money. Time is the most valuable thing we have. So if you're spending a bunch of time just scrolling and you're not gaining anything from this, you're not watching anything that is filling your cup up, making you feel better, or teaching you something, you are giving away that time for absolutely nothing, and you will not get that back. Okay, tip number 3, start taking responsibility for yourself. You are the reason you are where you're at. I know a lot of us hate to hear it, but it is another hard truth. I was a master of excuses. So anytime anything was an inconvenience or something came up, I would come up with 100 excuses on why I could not get what I needed to get done, but not one reason on how I could have done better. Because if we're being real, a lot of the times we will take something unfortunate or something we didn't account for happening and make it our excuse on why we weren't able to do everything else under the sun. And if we're being real, a lot of the times we maybe could have avoided it or we could have found ways around it. We just were frustrated and didn't want to. So in most cases, when we're so used to making excuses, we miss the valuable lessons that could have helped us avoid this problem in the future or find our way around it. So if you already have that type of mindset where as soon as something happens to you, as soon as you're thrown off track, as soon as stuff doesn't go to plan, you're ready to make all these excuses and throw in the towel instead of looking at it and saying, what could I have done better? What could I change in the future so that this is less likely to happen? Or if it's something that had nothing to do with you, how could you make it work for you, make the best out of the situation, basically make lemonade out of lemons, okay? And if you're anything like me, then you probably always want to feel in control, and you're just not in control of what happens to you. But we can control how we react to things and how we plan moving forward and what we learn from things. So now when I come across a problem, I always try to think about what can I change to either help this out, get around this problem, or avoid it totally in the future. Okay, tip number 4. This is a very actionable tip, and it is the 5-minute rule. If you struggle with procrastination, this hack is for you. Okay, have you ever been avoiding something and then you got around to finally doing it and you said to yourself, oh my gosh, this wasn't that bad? Well, that is why the 5-minute rule is so powerful and has been so successful for me. So basically, this hack is whatever you are avoiding that seems too daunting, you tell yourself you only have to do it for 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, if you're completely over it and it was just way too much, you can stop. And that's the 5-minute rule. I feel like there's 2 things that happen when you implement this. Number 1, once you get started, you realize that that was the actual hardest part of it, was just getting started. A lot of the times, like going to the gym, the hard part is putting on your outfit, getting out the door, and getting to the gym. And once you're there, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna finish this workout. I'm gonna do it. And then I feel like the second thing that happens, which I thought was just a me thing, but I found out that is actually just a human thing, that is that us as humans like to see things through to the end. Take movies, for example. When you start a movie, it's really hard to just get up and leave in the middle of the movie. You most likely want to see the ending. You want to see the conclusion. And that's actually how we are with a lot of things. When you start a task and you see the progress you're making, it is usually pretty satisfying and rewarding to see it through to the end. That is why I love this hack so much, because I am really good at procrastinating. I can let my mind self-sabotage and make something so big and so daunting. And that's how powerful the mind is. In a way, kind of manipulating yourself to do the thing that you really don't want to do. And then once you're doing it, you realize it really wasn't that bad. It was a lot of me just in my head making it to be that bad. Tip number 5 is what I feel like is my personal life story, okay? I know if you're feeling unmotivated, if you're feeling drained, you're probably like, I need to change my entire life around. I need to do a complete 180. And you probably feel like you need to do all that today. Now, I was the girl that was always on a mission to change my life in one day. And let me just give you a little example of the things that I would do to change my life. Whenever I was fed up and I was like, okay, I've had enough, I would get up on that day, I would wake up super early, I'd work out, I'd probably clean the house top to bottom, I'd tell myself 0 screen time, read 10 pages out of a book, and completely just do the most. And that is the quickest way to kill all real progress. You're doing way too much, way too fast, and it's not sustainable. And that's me. That's literally me in a nutshell. I'm constantly having to fight this, and I'm constantly learning why I've been in this negative cycle of being occasionally great, but never consistently good. And I wish I came up with that quote, but I actually heard that quote from Nick Bare. And when I heard that, I was like, oh my goodness, that is me. I am always occasionally great, but I want to be consistently good. And I was shooting myself in my foot by trying to do too much too soon, and it just was never sustainable. We are not robots. We are not machines. We have to do things in a sustainable manner. So that is why it's important to implement small things that will amount over time, and you will look back and say, wow, my life has changed. But you cannot change your life in one day, but you can start the process of changing your life today. Now, I did come up with that one. That one kind of hit a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. You need to be making consistently good habits and choices every single day, but it needs to be at a sustainable rate. So I feel so passionate about this tip because I'm like, wow, once I figured this out, I was a lot less hard on myself and I didn't push myself to the absolute limit. And I'm still learning this because in some areas I still find myself doing that because I'm naturally competitive. Like that is my nature. And I feel like it's good in some aspects of life, but I do not think it's great to be like that in all aspects of life. I know you want to get out of your rut. I know you want to reach all your goals and your dreams, but it's going to be a process and it does take patience, and slow and steady wins the race. Okay, tip number 6 is to build a routine. Implementing a morning routine has probably been one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life. Prior to that, I used to just wake up and just let the day take me wherever. I would get up most of the time, scroll on my phone. I would try to say, okay, maybe I want to get this done today, maybe I want to get that done, but there was really no structure. There wasn't things that I got up and I did every single day. And the reason why routines are so important, especially for the days when you're feeling unmotivated, when you wake up on those days and you're not feeling the best, naturally we like to do things that make us feel better. We start chasing that dopamine, right? So you'll wake up and you'll probably grab your phone so you feel better. You start to read the latest celebrity gossip and their lives look a lot crazier than yours, and now you're like, okay, I feel a little bit better. But doing that is not going to get you to your goals. It's not going to get you out of the bed, get you motivated. And having a routine puts you on autopilot. So even if you're feeling bad, even if you're feeling down that day, because you have these habits that you already do on a consistent basis, you're more than likely going to go through the motions with those. And you may even end up getting that motivation at the end of it because you've done things that's filling up your cup. My morning routine is very simple and it's not that many steps. And that is, I get up, I throw a load of laundry in because a load a day keeps the pile away. I drink some water, I start boiling my eggs, and then I spend time with God, or I read the word, do a devotion. I do all of that, and then after I'm done with that, I get to have my coffee. So my coffee is like my little reward, but it's after I've already done stuff that I know is going to get me closer to the person that I want to be. Throwing a load of laundry in is keeping me on top of my chores, and I don't feel consumed with laundry every single week. Getting my water in before I drink my coffee, it's working towards a healthier me. Those are simple little habits, and it's really not much, and none of the stuff is like too daunting for me. And because, like I said, I do it more so on autopilot now, even when I wake up not feeling the best and feeling pretty lazy, I'm still able to get this stuff done and be more productive even if I'm not having the best day. Okay, tip number 7 is to embrace failure. I love the quote. I think it's like, do not fear failure, but fear the absence of progress. In other words, fear the fact that you're not trying to get better more than if you try and you fail. Because when we avoid failing, we're training our brain to think failing is a mistake. Like you can't fail, that's not good. But you will meet no successful person that hasn't failed. So I'll give you guys an example. When I first started this YouTube channel, I had posted a video and it flopped. It got no views. So I feel like I failed. So I just gave up. I didn't post for an entire year after that. But after sitting in that failure and realizing that I still wanted this, the fear of not working towards my dreams became bigger than me possibly failing again. And that's what made me take that risk. And I'm not saying it was a linear journey, but if I never took that risk, then I would have never seen this channel grow. I would have never got the opportunities that came along with it. So now I really do embrace failure because I know when I'm failing, I'm learning and I'm just getting closer to my goals. I'm making progress every day and I'm not letting that fear of failing keep me from trying. Okay, my last and final tip is to habit stack. Now, habit stacking is such an amazing hack and I love it. I use it every single day. And basically, what this is just pairing something that you need to do, but is not that attractive, not something you really want to do, along with something that you do enjoy. So for me, I love to FaceTime my sister. And back in the past, when I was in my lazy girl era, I would FaceTime her to avoid doing what I needed to do. Like I would be like, okay, I'm overwhelmed. Let me just FaceTime my sister and see what she got going on. And I would use it as a way of avoiding what I needed to do. So now what I do is if I want to FaceTime my sister, I will say, okay, you can FaceTime her when you're folding laundry or when you sit down to eat, at times where that certain habit or task doesn't need my full attention, but it's something that I need to do, I will call her and we will chat and it will make whatever I'm doing, whatever that task is that I'm doing, so much better because I'm just having a conversation with her. It doesn't really feel like I'm doing a hard thing. It's making what I need to do more enjoyable. I really want you to understand that you do not have to make everything hard. Every second of the day doesn't need to be hard for you to be doing good for yourself. One of the reasons why I've always been able to stick to the gym is because I genuinely enjoy working out. Now, if I completely dreaded the gym and I hated every part of it, I would probably have a lot harder time to get there. So I'd have to find ways that would make it a little bit more enjoyable for myself or reward myself after. So that's what I feel habit stacking does is it gives you a little incentive or makes things that you need to do that aren't particularly your favorite a little bit easier to do. Life is already hard. There are going to be a lot of hard moments. So if we can try to take what we can and make it work for us, make it sustainable, do things that make us feel good, but also challenge us and also get us to where we want to be, it's going to be a whole lot easier to stay productive, to stay bettering yourself. And I hope that you're able to get that from these tips that I shared. So that is all the tips and habits that I implemented to finally exit my lazy girl era. Please let me know if you enjoyed this video and if you want to see more like this. I genuinely had such a fun time planning this video and talking on here. Honestly, the more that I learn and I'm able to help myself, the more I want to help you girls because that is what my channel started about, all about physical health and working out to feel good. But I also feel that your mental health is so important and I want to bring more of that to this channel. And other than that, if you stayed all the way to the end, thank you. You're a real one. I really hope you gained something from this video and I pray that this next year will be everything you want and more. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.